said than done. Bikes heading out onto the circuit just now for race 2 of the Pirelli Super Twins and the Super Sport 300s. And pole position then is your race 1 winner, Slade van Niekerk, who was absolutely on fire earlier on today in that number 96 machine. Then in second place alongside him is going to be Max Munton in the number 14 in his Kawasaki ER650, sponsored by Mag Workshop and Sunscan. Row 2 is going to be Adrian Solomon in the number 4 Kawasaki ER650, sponsored by the Pool King. And then alongside him on row 2, fourth place, Abigail Bosson, one to watch for the second race here in that number 51 ER650, sponsored by Project 60. Kalberg and Sales Hire. Row 3 is going to be Lance Jonas in the number 83 bike. He is going to be alongside number 5 of Franco Flack in the number 5 bike as well. And then on row 4, James Lloyd, currently one of the top contenders for competitor of the day. The number 74 bike is going to be on row 4 alongside Elmi Mostert, the number 94 bike in that 650, sponsored by Samurai Racing. Row 5 is going to be Bradley Musto in the number 7 machine, sponsored by CCHSA, and he's riding the only KTM RC390 that we have out there on the grid today. Alongside him is going to be Cody Redlinghuis in the number 87 machine, and 10th place for them just now. At the back we do have listed Hilton Redlinghuis, but again with no time set on the previous race. We'll see. I'm not sure if we will get them out there on grid, but certainly 11 on the timing screen. We'll see if we get 11 bikes out there. But again, 650s, 300s. You'd think that the 650s have the edge, but sometimes the handling of the 300s can come into its own.
Absolutely, David, and we'll see it once again. If Slade can get another brilliant start like he did in race number 1, then it will be clear as day. And by clear as day, I mean literally the only thing you'll see ahead of him is clear daylight. So there is some competition to be putting up. Once again, thanks to all that are around the circuit. I'm loving to see the stands, the dirt mounds, all the grandstands and bomas getting filled up for this new season. Everyone watching from overseas. I know my girlfriend's overseas in America also watching us live now at the moment. But we get ready before the board to go up. And to think, in 2021, we had a massive grid of riders, the likes of Van Niekerk, Koen Snyman, Trevor Westman, Gerard Visser, Paul Medel, David Lindeman and Gareth Lindeman, Lineker, Onto, and the rest. And now we still have brilliant grids as they set off underway, out from the red lights, down into block coin corner for race number 2. It gets very tight into the apex as they lean over and look at their line, the train that they're already in, coming through the first turn.
Max Munton, this is going to be his opportunity as they go almost side by side into turn 2, late onto the brakes. That's also going to invite Adrian Solomon. I think that's way too wide. Around the outside, I think that was Max Munton. That was a heck of a move if that was the case, but goodness me, fantastic hole shot from your front 4 just now. It is still neck and neck. You've got Max Munton, I believe, actually in the 3rd position there, still being chased down here. And again, as they make their way through 3 at the moment, thankfully, the first couple of corners been incident-free.
Absolutely, and it will stay that way. We cross fingers as it was. As there you see the stricken Seth Griffin-Wintle car just on the side of the circuit. As they come by us now, I look over, in fact, and it looks to be, if I stand corrected, it looks just likely that it could be the 37, or 34 rather, of Hilton Redlinghuis, unless I may have got that wrong. And the colours look very, very familiar as they come out of the final corner. We'll see when they come across the line. The sheet gets reinstated, or updated rather, and we see where everyone lies. But currently leading out, it's Slade van Niekerk from Max Munton, from Adrian Solomon. And then they continue on. Then it's Boston's line. It looks like Adrian Solomon was the one up in second place. The 4 bike, not the 34 bike. Then it goes to Jonas, Flach, Late, Musto, Mostert, and then Redlinghuis.
So in that case then, we shouldn't be surprised that that move around the outside by what was obviously Slade van Niekerk then has complete confidence in that bike. He has got it absolutely pinned right now. It is a 8-lap race here, so we've got 7 laps left to go on lap 2 just now. As we said, it is Slade van Niekerk out in front, and you've got to be honest, this is now the closest that Max Munton is going to get as we go very, very wide on the exit of 3 there. Yeah, that's squeaky bum time, I think is what they call it in the industry, but still, I mean, you've got to have nerves of steel to be pushing these machines to their absolute nth degree here.
Absolutely, and as our leader does just that, Slade van Niekerk has won a championship on not quite, I don't think it's this very bike, but the exact same bike style and brand that he did those few years ago, and he's keen to do it again as he leads out ahead of Max Munton, who had that little bit of a wide line outside of 3, but hopefully he can just keep to his own line now with a little bit of a gap. But look at the battle just behind for 3rd and 4th between Boston and Solomon. Solomon currently having the upper hand by 0.2 of a second as they go into the first braking point around the circuit. Then it's Jonas. Redling Ace up into 6th spot overall, that being Hilton, ahead of Franco Flach. Then James Leighton, Bradley Musto chopping and chaining. I see them coming across the line now in the 300s class. That one is very, very feisty down there, with Elme Mostert also getting up in the middle of the mix.
Equal machinery as well, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, all in on the Kawasaki ER650s here, so it's literally everyone for themselves right now. But Boston, we saw this in race 1, absolutely stalking her prey right now, and that's what we see here, trying to get in the head of Solomon right now.
Absolutely, as we see now down, sort of twitching ever so slightly going through turn number 3, the new Pirelli rubbers on the tail end of those bikes just squealing around under all this immense pressure, and they're doing incredibly quick lap times, the low 21s for the top 4, into the 20s for Slade van Niekerk in first position, as we watch them all peel on down into the final corner, Cape Town corner that is, as we watch them go onto the inside line. Obviously in the cars, we see the cars go up wide and then cut down to get a better exit. These guys stay very tight on the inside on the embankment and still get their knees down. As you see, there goes Max Munton. There is Solomon and Boston just behind Lance Jonas ahead of Redling Ace.
Side by side almost, but Boston pulls out at the very, very last moment to possibly try and make a move a little bit further on. 4th place, we're watching just now the battle for 3rd and 4th position. Your race leader just briefly in shot there, Slade van Niekerk in the number 96, off into the distance, 2.5 seconds ahead of Max Munton. But there we go up the inside. That is going to be Abigail Boston. I think she's possibly got that position done before we even got into the corner there. We'll wait to confirm that, but again, they were side by side, and the confidence on Abigail is just going from strength to strength right now.
Absolutely second to none for the young lady who's really putting the pressure on Adrian Solomon. If she hasn't made the move on him yet, those bikes are very similar in color. We can't quite see them from the screen. We might just need to take a peek out the window as they come down the back straight, and no, it is in fact Boston that has moved up into that 3rd spot ahead of Adrian Solomon. Boston flying on that 650 sponsored by Project 60 SA and Team Wayward as they go down into the final corner once more, and there's another battle just behind them between Jonas and Redling Ace.
Wow, I'm pretty sure that was an incredible bit of defence there, but you're absolutely right to point that out. Lance Jonas and Hilton Redlinghuis in a epic battle behind them for 5th and 6th position as well. So we see 2 cracking battles almost nose to tail as they go across the start finish line. Then 4 laps left to go here in the second race of the afternoon for the Pirelli STC 650s and Super Sport 300s as well. And well, what more can we say? This battle for 3rd and 4th and for 4th and 5th is just epic. Sorry, for 5th and 6th is epic stuff.
Absolutely, as we watch now, there is Hilton Redling Ace. And look at this, we'll jump back to the 300s, and I was watching this in the side of my eye as we see James Leighton, Bradley Musto, these 2 youngsters, very wide goes Bradley, just late on the brakes into turn number 1 block coin corner, but he's putting serious pressure on the other youngster, James Leighton. They are fighting each other out seriously on this final race of their day. Just ahead of Elme Mostert, also in one of the SV 650s, just behind, trailing, waiting and watching to make a move to get by. But down through Lundstem King they come and into Damp's Dip. Bradley, very good lines in and out of the corner. But 3.5 laps left to go, David. So moves need to be made all around the circuit.
They absolutely do, but it's more difficult in the 300s where you've got to plan and prepare your move like 2-3 laps in advance. It's all about momentum. But as we cut down into turn 1, there's first place Slade van Niekerk. That was Max Munton as well going through the corner in his number 14. But this is third position. Adrian Solomon has retaken that position from Abigail Boston. And honestly, it looks like Boston goes a little bit wide at turn 1, loses a bit of time, and that's going to leave them under real pressure here from Hilton Redlinghuis and potentially even Lance Jonas as well.
Absolutely. We just had a bit of a miss of what that incident was as Abby went into turn number 1, and I believe she tried to keep that line and maybe set up ever so slightly and threw her off line and very wide, but she's regained herself. But all that time that she had towards that third spot of Adrian Solomon, as Bradley Musto goes up the inside of James Lade into block going turn number 1. He takes that lead away in the Supersport 300s class, and a brilliant ride from this youngster. After also injuring his wrist over the holiday season, James Lade almost tries to put his nose up the inside into turn number 2, Castro corner, but he doesn't let it happen. Bradley puts his knee out and says no way and holds it out with 2.5 laps left to go.
Yeah, and James Lade has to pick up the pieces after this one because, again, takes a much tighter line instead of Bradley Musto that's out there just now, but they're making their way through 3 and then into 4 just now. But we go back with the leader. That is Slade van Niekerk in the race lead here with just 2 laps left to go. Then it's Max Munton and Adrian Solomon further behind there. You've also got Abigail Bosson in 4th position, Hilton Redlinghuis in 5th position. But we cut to the exit of turn 1, and again this is now everybody for themselves. We see some big gaps where we had a three-way fight basically, and it's all, who's that's just retired? That's the 87, is it?
That looks to be Cody Redlinghuis, the young lady, just having issues there on that R3. I don't know why. I believe it's an R3. Maybe it's his Kawasaki 400. As now it looks like she just couldn't grab gears. But she's back up and running once again as we watch the rest of the field come down towards Sorrel Sweep. In they go. And there you see the likes of Max Munton. And there is, I believe that's Boston and I lie. Sorry, it's Solomon and Boston, as well as Redlinghuis and Jonas just behind them. You see them coming into the corner as well, just there, as they race on down towards the final corner and coming up on 1 lap left to go.
And realistically now, the only battle that's close at the moment is between your 300 leaders of James Loy and Bradley Musto, who are still absolutely going at it, hammer and tongs just now. We've got 1 lap left to go as Slade van Niekerk crosses the line to start the final lap. That number 96 has been dominant so far. Max Munton comes across the line, so does Adrian Solomon in 3rd position. Abigail Boston cross line in 4th, but there is your race leader, and again another flawless day at the office here for Slade van Niekerk here, Jordan.
Absolutely has been for the wild child. I know his parents, Sam and Willie, are watching from Mauritius. Well, they should be. I'm pretty sure it's a little bit later in the day for them in Mauritius, but they know how well their son can ride, and they're watching and hoping he can just make it 2 for 2 for the day. As he comes around turn number 4, Sorrel Sweep down in the Killarney Straight, and he's got 1 more corner left to go.
And he's doing it in style exactly the same way as he did in race 1. He's on for his fastest lap on this last lap of the race, Jordan, as he comes down the Killarney Straight and through the Cape Town corner for the final time.
And here he comes, all on his own, the clearest of air, just ahead of him. And he comes around through 5A, through the kink, up under the City of Cape Town bridge and across the line to take 2 for 2 for the day for Project 60 SA and Team Wayward, just ahead of the rest.
120.016 last lap there as across line goes Max Munton, and that is a big gap that he's got over Adrian Solomon as they eventually come across the line. 6 seconds it was as Abigail Bosson drops back to just take that from Hilton Redlinghuis in 4th and 5th position. 6th place is going to go to Lance Jonas in the 83. But my goodness me, so Abigail Bosson starting to falter towards the end there and get caught up. And we saw a lot of these riders having a little bit of moment with the rear tyres. So these Pirellis are obviously going to have to take a little bit more time to get used to here.
Absolutely, and I've heard from David Quist, and like I said earlier, these Pirellis love the hot temperature. So the temperature is rising here at the circuit, but maybe still pressure's not quite up to scratch yet. They're still very new tyres to all the series and take lots of getting used to the line now. In the 300s class, James Late managed to get past Bradley Musto in the last couple of laps, and Brandy will come home in second spot, 9/10 of a second just behind James Late, ahead of, or the pair of them ahead of Elme Mostert and Cody Redlingates.
Fantastic stuff then from the Pirelli Super Twins 650s and the Super Sport 300s. Race 2 for them, so that's them done for the day as well. And again, I think all of them can hold their heads very, very high after what has been a fantastic opening round to the season. They get to go back to the drawing boards, maybe make some plans for the rest of the season ahead here as we check out some of the replays from the early stages of the race here. And again, going through that final corner, Cape Town corner, it's so important for these bikes, as you said, very different from the cars, because the cars want to kind of stay in the middle of the track, whereas they want to stay as tight as possible, and that slingshots you out, especially if you're directly behind another bike, and that's exactly what we're seeing here on the replays. A big hello, as always, to everyone that's watching at home on YouTube. Quite honestly, we would much rather have you here at Killarney International Raceway. It is a beautiful, beautiful day here in Cape Town. I promise I'm not just saying that as a Scots person and, you know, enjoying all the weather that we can possibly get here, but it is just an experience. Myself and Jordan, we were out at lunchtime, and the atmosphere is absolutely fantastic, and seeing all of the work that's gone into making it a better experience for the spectators, it just is absolutely, absolutely fantastic stuff.